Welcome to Community Producers. My name is Olivia Slade.
And I'm Jordan Slade. We are here at the University of Lethbridge where students are starting off another semester.
In our first segment, we're off to Lakeview Elementary to talk to our junior reporter, Cassie, about the STEM program.
Hi, I'm Cassie Dirksen, Shaw TV's junior reporter, and today I'm interviewing
Sarah Algren, Making Connections worker at Lakeview School.
Today I'll be interviewing her on the STEM program. What is STEM?
STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
What got you involved in STEM?
Well, I really wanted to find a way to bring the idea of growth mindset to some of the students here at Lakeview. And growth mindset says that your brain is always growing and changing, and that if you dedicate yourself to learning anything, that you can learn as long as you keep trying and keep persevering through it.
What is your goal with STEM?
I really want kids to understand that if they fail at something, there's still an opportunity to grow from that, to become better at it, and that anything is possible as long as you put your mind to it.
Where do you get your ideas for STEM?
So I find most of them online. When I'm looking for ideas, I look for something that you guys can maybe do one time, and then if it doesn't work out so great, you have a chance to reevaluate and create something different and better and learn from your mistakes.
Cool, thank you. This is Shaw TV's junior reporter, Cassie Dirksen.
With the new year, we bring a new segment from Osteoporosis Canada. In the first episode, we talk about vitamin D.
Actually, I had some clients in yesterday and they were asking me a lot about vitamin D, and we were talking about how there's a lot of information coming out now where we're evolving to a point where rickets is now something we're afraid of. Children are getting diagnosed with rickets now, and that's something that was, very prevalent in the early 1900s, but something that we've never seen since that time, right? And we're so conscientious of making sure that we aren't having too much sun exposure and things like that because of the ultraviolet radiation, those sorts of things that'll get into your skin and cause spots and those sorts of things. But ultimately, we have to try not to be overcautious either, because you can kind of overdo it, right? So we always encourage people to kind of scale back a bit on the sunscreen, give them 10 minutes outside with no sunscreen on. Just 10 minutes would give you about 10,000 international units. And that's like almost a week's worth, right? So that's really good for bone health, but also we're seeing in our youth and our young people, more and more of them are also very, they're fighting depression and anxiety, because we live in a society right now where there's a lot of pressure and there's a lot of multitasking going on, right? So, people do get overwhelmed and things like that very easily, but it's proven as well that vitamin D is very, very good for, people who get seasonal defective disorder, things like that, where it'll really just kind of ramp up their energy levels a little bit, kind of play on those dopamine receptors and just kind of boost the happiness. Definitely supplements. You have to supplement it in Canada. Even though right here in southern Alberta we do get a lot of sun, we're too far away from the sun for it to actually be vitamin D that we're absorbing, right? We're just getting sunlight. So it's better for us to be able to take a supplement, and it's a fat-soluble supplement. So if you were to be away from home for a week or whatever, you don't have to go and buy more vitamin D. You can just, top it up when you get home, and your body will disperse it as it needs. And we use drops at home, but you can use tablets and whatever, but it's something that you definitely want to supplement. There are some vitamin D fortified foods, so like orange juice, things like that. There's some in milk, but there is a little bit of research too on that once it's exposed to the fridge and that sort of thing, and it doesn't really have the amount of vitamin D that it needs. Just take a supplement, and that's very odd, because even for us, when we talk calcium, we try to stay away from supplements. We try to find it in any nutritional source that we can first, and certainly doing a lot of holistic health here, we want to make sure that we can revert to food or to activity or what have you in order to be able to get that supplement. But in the case of vitamin D, it's really tricky. You do really need to take something over and above. Say err on the high side, right? So for most adults, the range is about 800 international units, right up to 2,000. There's people out there that might have maybe some musculoskeletal issues, or maybe they have nerve issues, all different types of things. But I do know some people, their physician will give them even 5,000 to 6,000 international units, depending on what their condition is, and sometimes maybe it's absorption too. But definitely err on the high side here in Canada. Making sure that people are aware. We do want to promote being conscious of the sunlight as well and that exposure. However, we just want to tell people to just maybe take one step back, be cautious of it with your children, but let's make sure that we are giving them a little bit of that exposure so that we can, maybe stay away from some of the issues that we're having now with say rickets, the depression, those sorts of things, seasonal disorder. And also too, there's a lot of people talking from the Cancer Foundation that I've spoke with. We sit on a committee together, a lot of the nonprofits, and they have a lot of evidence talking about how the vitamin D can be very, very helpful for individuals who are battling different forms of cancer as well. So it sounds like it's just an all-around really great supplement to add in. Most everything else you can get from other sources, right? Nutrition or what have you.
In this segment produced by Lethbridge School District number 51, Christine Lights talks about scholarship breakfast to recognize some very special students' achievements.
Hi, I'm Christine Light, trustee for Lethbridge School District 51. To celebrate Canada's 150th birthday, Lethbridge School District 51 wanted to recognize some very special student achievements and introduce the Canada 150 ICE Scholarship Program. 2018 marks our second year of recognition with 4 $1,000 scholarships, 2 at the grade 9 and 10 levels, and 2 more for grade 11 and 12 students. Students at any of the district's high schools are eligible to apply or be nominated for a scholarship. The basis for the new scholarships can be found within the Lethbridge School District's vision and mission statements, which focus in part on innovative learning and achievement by students. In the scholarship title, Canada 150 ICE Scholarships, the acronym ICE represents innovation, creativity, and entrepreneurism. It is these qualities the award committee will be looking for in the projects that are submitted. Innovation takes many forms, and we have witnessed many great examples of how our schools are delivering innovative programming throughout various subject areas. We hope these scholarships serve as a catalyst for students to be inspired and build on the great things already happening in our district. Our city's business community is a welcome partner in this initiative. The Lethbridge Chamber of Commerce participates in the award program through promotion among its members for sponsorships and other kinds of financial and in-kind support for the Scholarship Fund. The Community Engagement Committee, a Board of Trustees standing committee, which involves district and community members, has been instrumental in developing the Scholarship Fund. Details of the scholarship will be released to students in the new year. The second annual sponsorship breakfast of the Canada 150 ICE Scholarship Program will be held on Wednesday, February 14th at the Coast Hotel. Community and business members, please Keep the state free and join Lethbridge School District 51 as we work to build a scholarship fund that recognizes and rewards students for their accomplishments and achievements in 3 areas that set Lethbridge on course to be a healthy, thriving city: innovation, creativity, and entrepreneurism. Michael Kerr, an award-winning international speaker and author, will deliver this year's keynote address. Kerr's presentations are extremely engaging, with a focus on humor in the workplace. We look forward to celebrating these achievements with you on February 14th at the Canada 150 ICE Scholarship Breakfast.
Probably to start with, you want to assess your fitness level, see where you sit there. Definitely setting goals and building a routine, starting slowly, starting low, but making a commitment. And sometimes people find it easier to set goals when they sign up for a 5K run or a Spartan race or something like that, and it kind of gives them a push too. But and respecting your down days, your recuperation days for sure. They like to see about 30 minutes of cardio every day to start off with, and then starting with just 2 to 3 days a week of weight training for the first couple months till it becomes more of a routine. Lots of good low impact ones would be walking for sure is number one. Swimming, cycling, elliptical trainers are really good. Rowing machines, anything that's really a good resistance workout, but not a heavy duty impact on joints for sure. Regulars, I mean, they're gonna know that there's the New Year's rush for sure. So being in that mindset with a little bit of patience for the newcomers and knowing that you're gonna run into that is the first big step. If it's possible to change their workout times to the less busier times of the day, if they can, and they know. If not, you can ask to set in with people too, and just rotate on equipment, and always have a plan A, B, and C. When regulars come to the gym, they know it's leg day, or they know it's this day or whatever. So if people are on the equipment, then maybe have a backup plan of different equipment they can use, or a different day they can do, or different routines, and also adding to your at-home workouts too, just to kind of avoid that initial New Year's rush. It's tough. I mean, it takes a couple months to really get a routine ingrained in your days for sure. Like I said, setting goals is a big thing. Journaling can be good, keeping track of your results, keeping track of how you're feeling, how your clothing's fitting, rewards for yourself, that kind of thing, and just really keeping the end goal in mind at all times, and understanding that it's going to be a little painful at the beginning. Like little kids, you always got to reward good behavior, right? So, you just have to keep in mind that if you want a food reward, it's fun, some food sabotages your goals. So stick with healthier snacks. Don't overcompensate your hunger after a workout by feeling you need to eat more, kind of thing. And find other things to reward yourself with, like a massage, or like a relaxation, or a bubble bath even, or a cute outfit at the end of that month of working out. There's lots of reasons for sure. I mean, the biggest reason I think is that people are expecting immediate results, and you're not going to get immediate results for sure. It's a commitment. It's a lifestyle commitment. It is a choice, and it takes time for sure. So not getting frustrated if the scale numbers aren't dropping right away, or you're not seeing a huge change right away, and just understanding that it takes time. Some people, our lives are busy. Our lives are all very busy, and we don't consider the fact that we do have to take time for ourselves. It's not just about looking good in a swimsuit or bodybuilding this or that. It's about being healthier, and it's about being healthier in our future for our kids and that kind of thing. And so you know, it's time that we need to just set aside for us, and it's sometimes can be expensive, but there's lots of at-home workouts you can do. You can go outside, you know, walking, running, anything, ride your bike. So there's really lots of ways to stay active for sure. We have our website, which is www.trekhealthandfitness.ca. We also have a Facebook page, and the number here is 403-634-6797. And there's lots of people that just pop in and see us and yeah, give us a shout or a message.
The University of Lethbridge Destination Project has recently passed the 50% completion mark. On this segment, we get to go on a tour of the construction site.
So welcome to the site of the new Science and Academic Building at the University of Lethbridge. My name's Matthew Letts, and I'm the Associate Dean in the Faculty of Arts and Science. And I'm serving as the Academic Program Manager for the new Science and Academic Building, which essentially means that I serve as a liaison between the faculty, because we have to make sure their needs are met, and project management, the experts who are building this building. It's a really exciting time to be here at the U of L, as we have established the 50% point in the construction of this new building. And we're marking our 50th anniversary at this point. 50 years ago, when Arthur Erickson designed the iconic University Hall, we never envisioned the level of scientific research activity that would be taking place today. And so what this new building is doing is it's lifting the constraints imposed upon our science researchers. So you can see there's a lot of activity going on here today as we build this building, which will serve the needs not only of our researchers, but for our teaching needs and our community outreach. This new building is going to provide our researchers with state-of-the-art opportunities to carry out their research. We also will be staying true to our mission of liberal education. One small element of liberal education is making connections among disciplines, and this facility will promote transdisciplinarity by providing shared research spaces that can be distributed among our 5 departments that are going inside. These would be neuroscience, physics and astronomy, chemistry and biochemistry, biological sciences, and psychology. And so they'll be working together in many cases within shared spaces to carry out their research. Let's focus on the teaching as well. There's a need at this institution for more teaching spaces, both in terms of large lecture halls, all the way down through new opportunities like scale-up facilities. This is where we have active learning environments, upside-down pedagogies, all the way down to small Socratic seminar-style rooms. And so our teaching is going to be experiential. Our teaching is also going to give people the opportunity to be innovative. The building will have maker spaces where students, not just in the sciences, but from across campus, can meet together and they can work on innovative projects that either are set up for them just to be creative or may even result in spin-offs through our agility program. Community engagement is a #1 priority as well at this institution. We are increasingly doing more and more outreach, and this new facility will actually have a dedicated space to promote our destination exploration program as well as other outreach opportunities. Lastly, the learning is informal as well. The informal learning spaces are increasingly important because of the way that we learn today. People like to sit down and chat about interdisciplinary research, chat about their lives and the needs of society. We understand at the University of Lethbridge the importance of the university and society, and these open atrium spaces and other alternative spaces for learning will enhance our ability to serve the needs of society today. I thought I'd talk about a few of the design elements of this new building, Science and Academic Building at the University of Lethbridge. One of those elements is science on display. We want our community to become engaged in science. We want our young people to see what's going on here and be inspired to do science. And so there's going to be a lot of glass opening right into some of the areas where we're doing our research, and also into our outreach space. And so people feel like they're part of a community here. So physical geography is the study of the earth. Sorry, I was just getting a little bit excited, imagining myself running the first lecture in the Science and Academic Building. As you look around, where we're standing right now is in the link between the Science and Academic Building and the iconic University Hall. And so here we have a set of classrooms. These are 120-seat classrooms that will serve as lecture spaces in the new Science and Academic Building. It's a really special place because it's part of the connection that completes the loop on campus. We're on Blackfoot land here, this beautiful territory overlooking the Old Man River Valley, and it will force everyone to develop an appreciation of this fantastic space as you go to class. And so it's really exciting to actually be able to envision the space where students will be learning on campus for the next 50 years.
Next up, Constable Kara Hagan tells us about scams to watch out for.
Hey, it's Constable Hagan with Lethbridge Police Service, and on this version of Cop Beat with the community producers, we're going to talk about scams. So it's January 2018 now, and unfortunately that's when we get a whole new outrolling of scams. And we need to remember that scams come in all kinds of forms. They're not just in the mail anymore. They're not just on the telephone. You get them as text messages, emails, you name it, you can get a scam anyway. So unfortunately, we need to remember that these fraudsters out there are looking to take advantage of vulnerable people, and just in any way possible. So you might get that Canada Revenue Agency text message. It's a scam. You need to remember to make sure that if you have any questions about anything, do not give your personal information, do not give your SIN number, do not give your bank account numbers, do not give any personal information out. If you feel that you're concerned about whether it's a scam or not, call that company directly. Do not call the number that they have listed. Actually Google or look in the phone book and call the number that is relation to that company, and make sure you double check so you can protect yourself. So we want to make sure that when you get an email from, lots of times we get emails from banks, and you don't even bank at that bank, then it's for sure a scam. But if it happens to be a bank that you use and you have that email, just call your local branch and confirm. We need to make sure that you do a lot of fact checking prior to sending your information. Like I said, never ever give your social insurance number, your bank account numbers, any personal information, anything that you feel might or might not be a legitimate email, text message, phone call, or anything of that nature. We really want you to protect yourself. Just be aware that it's scam time, and those fraudsters out there are always looking to catch an easy break. So never, ever, ever give your personal information out on the phone, in an email, in a text message, or any other means like that. So furthering on with scams, we need to remember that if you get a phone call and somebody asks for you to transfer money to them, we need to make sure that we know exactly where that source is. A lot of times we'll still get the phone calls where the person will pretend to be a grandchild or a son or daughter or a friend or some sort of relation to the family, and then ask you to wire them money because they're in some sort of emergent situation. You need to confirm those details, as almost always it is a scam. So we need to make sure that you, again, confirm the details. Do not wire any money through any means to try and help this fraudster, because truly 9 out of 10 times is probably going to be the fraudsters. We need to make sure that you're protecting yourself in any of these means, because we don't want to see you become a victim to these fraudsters.
That'll do it for community producers.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
My name is Michael Fedunik. I am a certified professional counselor with Crossroads Healing Center. I want to welcome you today to the top 5 tips for health and wellness. At some point in our lives, all of us will experience the pain and distress of losing a loved one. And so I'd like to share with you 5 tips on helping you understand grief and loss better. Tip number 1 is there is no right or wrong way to grieve. The truth is, everybody grieves in their own unique way. So don't just impose some kind of timetable to yourself as to how long you should take to grieve. In fact, you should just, because it's difficult to prepare yourself for grief. Just allow yourself to experience the emotions you're feeling and don't judge whether you should be feeling them or not. The second tip is talk about your loss. See, in order for the healing process to really get going, you need to talk about the person that you have lost. And so communicating about your loss to your family, to your friends, is important for a couple of reasons. It helps you to put into perspective the relationship that you had with that person and the meaning behind that relationship as you're dealing with the loss. The second is it provides an opportunity for your family and friends to have a clearer understanding of how you need support during this very difficult time of dealing with the loss of that loved one. And you may even want to consider attending a support group where you're around other people who are grieving their loved ones as well, and perhaps you might even find someone who's in a very similar situation, and that can even bring comfort to you. Number 3 is identify your healthy coping mechanisms. In other words, take the opportunity to look back at different times in your life when you've had very traumatic experiences or difficult experiences, and how did you cope? You know, everybody deals with stress and difficult times differently, and so you may even want to, and you may not even realize exactly how you do it. So it's always important to just kind of take a look back and see, perhaps maybe you're the type of person that uses humor to work yourself through those difficult times, or maybe you're the type of person who likes to establish goals. And so during this time of grief, it might be important for you to say, you know, I want to do something in honor of the loved one that I'm grieving, and so maybe you'll get involved in a charity that was something that your loved one was very supportive of. Number 4 is identify and stop the unhealthy reactions to death and loss. You see, again, all of us, it's in our human nature to want to avoid pain, and some of us, we know, avoid it by using alcohol or drugs. We may even find ourselves overeating, or maybe not eating enough and taking care of ourselves. And so you need to take a look at those coping mechanisms or unhealthy reactions and begin to develop strategies of changing those. And if you find that along the way that you're finding it difficult to get out of bed and to go to work, to perhaps even go to school or maintain healthy relationships, you may then want to consider seeking out professional help from a counselor who would be able to help you develop strategies for better dealing with the grief that you're going through. And last but not least, don't be too hard on yourself. There will always be days that are going to be more challenging than others, and so just realize that what you're going through is normal, and that you're going to have those days, especially those days around anniversaries. As we know, Christmas is coming up, and so Christmas time and special holidays can be a very difficult time, and so just take some time to prepare as to how you're going to spend those days as they approach. Maybe perhaps you want to spend some time with a friend and doing special activities that will kind of help ease that day. But again, just remember, don't be too hard on yourself, because grief is a process. It's not something that just immediately goes away, but it is something that can take as much time as you need to get over it. And so if at any point you're interested in more information on this topic or more about Crossroads, just check us out online at www.crossroadshealing.org.